Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gaman Singh, topping our newscast. Several schools in St. Croix have had a rough past few days after experiencing issues with water pressure. Parents had to pick up their children early, and students were sent home for 2 days this week because of the extent of the problem. But according to education officials, they're back in regular session. News 2's April Knight has more.
3 St. Croix schools were back in business on Wednesday after starting the week off with dismissals due to water issues. That's according to St. Croix Insular Superintendent of Schools, Colleen Williams.
Because of the low water pressure that those schools were receiving and the inability to maintain a sanitary condition at the school, we had to call off school for the day.
Central High School, John H. Woodson and Elena Christian were closed on Monday because they had no water. Students were also dismissed early on Tuesday when attempts to fix the problem failed. The water issues are linked to the leaks at the Kings Hill storage tanks late last week.
The impact was greatest felt at Elena Christian simply because something was impeding the water level to maintain at a reasonable level on the school campus. Final step that resolved the matter was for WAPA to tie the school in with the water line across the street at the housing community area.
According to Ms. Williams, WAPA was with them every step of the way and managed to find a long-term solution that should keep schools in regular session starting Wednesday. Ricardo Richards also experienced some issues with a backed-up drain. That problem has also been resolved, according to Williams, and without endangering the health and safety of students and staff.
Food was prepared at another elementary school, Juanita Gardine, and that was brought to Ricardo Richards.
Governor Mapp said Tuesday that he plans to meet with WAPA officials on available funding for the territory's aging water lines.
There still remains some $27 million of federal grant money for the replacement of steel and old water lines in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
The Ricardo Richards kitchen and cafeteria was cleaned and sterilized and have been thoroughly inspected by the health department, according to education officials. In other news and crime reports, this morning at 1:50 a.m., officers responded to the report of a gunshot victim seeking treatment at the Schneider Hospital. The officers spoke with the victim, who stated that he'd been traveling up Rappoon Hill on his scooter when he heard shots being fired. He then hopped off of his scooter and ran into the bushes to call the 911 emergency call center. The victim, who sustained one gunshot wound to his leg, was unable to provide any information on the make or model of the vehicle that fired after him, nor any reason as to why anyone would want to shoot him. Anyone with information concerning this incident is asked to contact the Major Crimes Unit. Also, police say on Tuesday, March 8, at approximately 9:35 p.m., the 911 emergency call center received a report of gunfire discharged in the area of Market Street. Moments later, a second call indicating that someone was shot in the vicinity of El Rincon Latino Bar and Restaurant located in Frederiksted. The victim was found lying in the gutter just south of the restaurant with multiple gunshot wounds. He was transported to the Louis Hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries. Preliminary investigation revealed that Conrad Phipps, 30 years of age, a resident of Concordia, Frederiksted, had gotten into an argument and was shot by an unknown suspect. This homicide is under active investigation. Again, use those numbers there if you can assist police in their investigation. The Senate Committee on Culture and Historic Preservation reviewed a bill on Tuesday that directly affects the indigenous peoples of the territory. The bill, sponsored by Senator Myron Jackson, who also chairs the committee, would enact protections for Megan's Bay on St. Thomas and Salt River on St. Croix as cultural heritage sites. It would also recognize the living descendants of indigenous pre-Columbian people, including the Caribs and the Taínos. Some concerns arose, however, such as difficulty in enforcement and impracticality in scope. The bill was held in committee. Well, as we reported on Tuesday, Governor Kenneth Mapp announced that more than 100 prisoners were moved to federal facilities in the U.S. mainland. Governor Mapp said he plans to empty Golden Grove so it can be rebuilt according to standards. The governor, however, said part of the problem is a non-moving court system. NEWS2's April Knight has details.
Governor Kenneth Mapp fired at the court system on Tuesday for not moving the court dockets fast enough.
We have judges who are being paid in the Superior Court who some simply don't even report to work on a regular basis, do not move their court calendar, cannot respond to simple motions.
The governor made the statement right after he announced that some 105 Golden Grove inmates were being transferred to 2 prisons in the mainland. According to the governor, the slow court system is part of the reason why some of the 167 detainees in the territory's prisons are waiting for up to 7 years for their day in court. Mr. Mapp said this problem has very real financial impacts.
I've advised the presiding judge, because a speedy trial provisions of federal law does not apply to the U.S. Virgin Islands, that I will be forwarding a bill to the legislature appending a speedy trial provisions and applicable to persons arrested in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Governor Mapp said the government also needs to work on the territory's aging prison population and the various medical liabilities that go with that. He said he's talking to lawmakers on how to empower the parole board to make decisions on old and ailing prisoners so that they get the health care that they need without busting the government's budget.
I do not believe that the governor giving pardons or commutations based on the governor's own discretion is an appropriate public policy to adopt. I believe we should create some standards, work with the medical community to determine at what level do we make a decision as a society that there is simply no more punishment to be extracted from an individual because of their current medical condition.
Reporting for NEWS2, I'm April Knight.
And according to BOC's Director Rick Mulgrave, there's a possibility of bringing back those 105 prisoners once the overhaul of Golden Grove has been completed. We'll turn our attention overseas. Bernie Sanders wins the critical battleground state of Michigan. It's a sharp blow to Hillary Clinton. Sources say her campaign is shaken by the close Democratic race there. Clinton did pull off a win in Mississippi. Donald Trump is another big winner, taking the Republican primaries in Mississippi and Michigan. And Ted Cruz is the winner of Idaho. Republicans in Hawaii also had a chance to weigh into the presidential race. Mary Maloney has reactions from Super Tuesday.
In a stunning upset, Bernie Sanders winning the Michigan primary.
I just want to take this opportunity to thank the people of Michigan who kind of repudiated the polls that had us 20, 25 points down a few days ago, who repudiated the pundits who said that Bernie Sanders was not going anywhere.
While Hillary Clinton still holds the lead in the delegate race, it represents an embarrassing speed bump in her efforts to pull away from the Sanders campaign.
We believe that our strongest areas are yet to happen. We're going to do very, very well in the West Coast and other parts of this country.
Hillary Clinton winning Mississippi. Crowds cheered at her headquarters as supporters heard the news.
This campaign is about building a future where every American can live up to his or her full potential, no matter where you come from, what you look like, or who you love.
Thank you very much, everyone. This was an amazing evening.
Donald Trump winning crucial victories in Mississippi and delegate-rich Michigan.
One of the things I'm most happy about is that the turnout has been just massive.
Performing strong despite a barrage of attacks from opponents.
I don't think I've ever had so many horrible, horrible things said about me in 1 week.
Trump not the only Republican winner of the night, Ted Cruz winning Idaho. Now the focus is on next Tuesday, with contests in Marco Rubio's home state of Florida.
I believe with all my heart that the winner of the Florida primary next Tuesday will be the nominee of the Republican Party.
And John Kasich's home state of Ohio.
We're now moving into a position where the people of America are beginning to hear this message, and it's going to get stronger.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Meanwhile, keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the New York Stock Exchange with our Stock Market Watch. According to the numbers there, the Dow up 36, NASDAQ up 25, S&P 500 also up at 10. Coming up on News 2, our VI History Month quiz. In the early 1900s, a thriving open-air commercial center was busy with market women selling their goods in an area formerly called Casimir Square. What is the present name of that area? Welcome back. The Virgin Islands Department of Health released its latest Zika surveillance report on Tuesday. The territory now has 7 confirmed cases of Zika. 5 of those cases are female. All in all, the VI has 75 reported Zika cases, 43 on St. Croix and 30 on St. Thomas, 2 on St. John. Some 65 lab results are still pending with the Centers for Disease Control. The VI Health Department and the CDC continue to urge residents to use EPA-approved mosquito repellents and to eliminate mosquito breeding grounds by getting rid of any stagnant water in their homes. On Thursday, members of the maintenance crew at the Governor F. Juan F. Louis Hospital and Medical Center and contractors began the process of replacing the hospital's existing chiller plant equipment system. 2 new 300-ton variable speed drive rotary screw compressor air-cooled chillers installation will affect the access routes closest to the parking lot used by the Juan F. Louis Hospital physicians. When the new units are in position, the air supply in the hospital will need to be turned off for 3 to 4 hours during the late afternoon to evening when it's cooler for the system to switch. The construction project is expected to last through March 20th, 2016. Meanwhile, Schneider Regional Medical Center has announced that they are suspending non-emergency knee and hip implant procedures. They say with the cost of implants increasing while reimbursements decrease, the decision was made to temporarily discontinue these non-emergency orthopedic implant procedures. Funding and maintaining the elective surgical implant programs is a problem not just locally but nationwide, they say. The difficulty lies in the cost of procuring hip and knee devices has increased significantly, and the reimbursement does not cover the costs. Hospital CEO Bernard Wheatley said this decision is not one that was made lightly. He said the hospital is struggling financially and they need to reduce or eliminate some services that take them further into debt. The Costa de Lezosa will be calling on St. Thomas for the first time on Thursday, March 10th, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Waiko. Joseph B. Buscelti, president and CEO of Waiko, said Waiko and Costa Cruises have had a long and mutually beneficial relationship over the years, and they look forward to welcoming more Costa ships as the line continues to expand their fleet. Costa de Lezosa is the second of Costa's Luminosa-class ships. Luminosa-class ships weigh approximately 92,700 gross tons. The ship's unique features include a 4D cinema, Grand Prix simulator, and 4 restaurants. It accommodates 2,828 passengers and 1,100 crew members. Costa de Lezosa was also rated second best ship for entertainment in a USA Today readers poll, and we welcome them to the Virgin Islands. The captain of the Port Coast Guard Sector San Juan announced Monday that a $5,000 civil penalty has been issued against a tourist who intentionally jumped from a passenger ferry during its arrival to the ferry terminal in Vieques, Puerto Rico. During the afternoon of January 24th, a passenger aboard the Calo Largo jumped into the water and swam to the shore while the ferry was conducting mooring operations. The passenger was met and detained by local police but later released. He didn't sustain any injuries. Now, rail jumping or an attempt to enter the water without permission interferes with the safe operation of a vessel and is subject to maximum civil penalty of up to $30,000. The Virgin Islands Department of Education, Division of Special Education, St. Croix District will be hosting a recognition event for special education teachers and paraprofessionals on Sunday, March 13th from 4 to 7 p.m. at Martini's Lounge in Christiansted. The event is being sponsored by Banco Popular and seeks to recognize and celebrate the contributions of those working in this specialized field. Attendees will enjoy music, activities, prizes, hors d'oeuvres, and drinks. The Banco Popular also sponsored a similar recognition event for special education employees in the St. Thomas St. John district last fall. Well, time for our VI History Month quiz. And here's a little history lesson for you as we continue to recognize VI History Month. In the early 1900s, a thriving open-air commercial center was busy with market women selling their goods in an area formerly called Casimir Square. In 1946, the area was renamed the Rothschild Francis Market Square, and the center, after the assistance of many merchants, was renovated with a shed. It was then called the Bungalow. Many events were held in this center of attraction, and as the years went by, on April 15, 2003, this went down in history. The bungalow was struck on its western side by a tractor trailer that caused it to collapse. Many saw this as a historical point in time. In 2007, many were in attendance for a significant historical event, the grand reopening, the grand rededication of that same bungalow. And one of the most dominant women at the marketplace was Sanderilla Thomas, Miss Sandy. She dedicated more than 50 years to selling at the marketplace because she was considered a matriarch. The bungalow was named in her honor. Well, be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.